Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Commodities report. I'll be using these charts and also charts from our analysts as well. So the Bitcoin thing here is that we've got a very simple A, B and C wave across the medium level here, 65. If we look at GBTC, grayscale here, it's much the same as well, just a nicer, cleaner pattern here as the A wave, the B wave and the C wave. Currently we've got wave 1, 2 and the third wave down. We still need the wave 4 and 5. If we perhaps go to, this will be the same for Bitcoin, and we'll look at this with Bitcoin as well for our chart. So you can see here that we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and this will all be the third wave, so we'll need a little bounce and then a move down. So if we have a look at this back on BTC here, if I just bring up my other charting program here, so this is the pattern here, the A wave, the B wave and the C wave coming down here. So it's pretty easy to track as 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave. And this wave 4 is a bit higher than 38.2%, but it's sort of come back up to the bit closer to halfway between the two target areas anyway. And then we're looking at this moving down here, and in this count here, that's interesting, this has gone up, but I was looking at this as wave 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, well 4 to this point and 5 to here, then an A and a B and a C for 4 and down for 5. So we can have a low in place here for Bitcoin. Now we haven't made a low below here, but it's okay if we can count 5 waves. There could be a truncated 5th wave. So I think the next step is, I was going to mention going long above here, but that's not necessary now. So let's just play this out here for a moment. Now Ethereum still needs to come down, I believe. Let me just and obviously this is sort of in line with a lot of tech stocks as well. So in terms of the leading tech stocks, we have Nvidia moving to the upside because with these markets, let me just find Nvidia for us. Okay, so Nvidia's here. So this is Bitcoin here, right? So this was roughly around early March, and Nvidia's pattern here as well, early March as well, a little bit earlier, a couple of days before, but basically the A, the B and the C wave here, but it's already got this wave 1 up here with an ABC back here as well. So we'll look to go long up here, but basically what I'm saying is that this ABC pattern is finished for Nvidia. This is one of the leading stocks, so there's a good possibility that the others can fall in place, and Nasdaq's not too far behind as well. So in this instance here, it looks like we were on our way, but what we can do here is we can look at this as another little 1 and 2 and 3 here. So if we just draw this out here, so this will be a little 3 coming in here somewhere, and 4 and 5 up here for this, and then there'll be an ABC pattern for a little wave 4 here, because wave 2 here was quite simple as an ABC little pattern in here, so this could be a bit more complicated, and then wave 5 here, and then we'll have some sort of ABC pattern over here. And of course we've got the halving after that as well, you know, so I mean it's coming, what is it now, 17th, so is it later this week or early next week on the weekend? So this would be the long trade setup here for this. And it's a little bit safer because we've got that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here at that point. If we get the 5, we may not get it. If we get it, then you kind of got safety first in that way. You know, you've got that impulse wave and you can manage your risk. If that gets triggered here, the stop can be under here. If you're going to set it and forget it and walk away, then you can set that up here somewhere, and you have to have the stop well out of the way at this point, and then you can adjust it later. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, that could also just pop down here at this point, but it still needs to put another little wave to the upside there. But anyway, just looking at both sides. But when we have a look at Ethereum, let's just see how that sort of moved up a bit. So with Ethereum, we've got the same pattern, the A wave and ABC for the B wave here, all very nice, and then 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the third wave, fourth wave. And then I was thinking we need a 1 and, you know, a 2 here, and then Hi there, we've got a great opportunity coming up on April the 14th to the 21st. It's going to be a free week for TradingLounge. So you'll get access to 6 analysts that cover most markets, forex, ASX stocks, trade recommendations for most markets, a great social chat, great education, currencies, commodities, swing trading, and so on, sectors, US sectors and US stocks. So it's a great little opportunity to check out TradingLounge, absolutely no cost whatsoever. Just put in your name and email and I will respond with you for your logins for April the 14th to 21st, and that will be at tradinglounge.com. So I look forward to seeing you on the inside. 345 to finish off. It's kind of a big wave fall, but it does come back to the wave fall 1 lesser degree. At the same time, if we're wrong, we only end up with a 3-wave move down here for whatever reason. Some WXY or something would need to be long above that wave fall. Okay, so that's quite simple at that point, but otherwise a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish off there. And that's pretty much the same as GBTC and so on. So that's where Bitcoin is at the moment and so on. So what we want to have a look at now is the dollar. So just bear with me. Can I go over here? No, I'll just go to this one. Go over to the commodities. I just wanted to also have a look at let's just for one moment just have a look at the kiddie ponds moves here for Bitcoin. Yeah, he's got the same pattern here as well, the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's all pretty straightforward at this point, but obviously the market has moved down here at this point. We'll need to see how that moves to the upside. I'll just check on Ethereum here as well. Yeah, same. So it's a pretty straightforward sort of count. So pretty much buying opportunities, you know, down in the next leg to the downside. So I want to have a look at the dollar next, and while we're in this section here, I'm just going to have a look at Malik's US dollar count here for a moment. USD, I think we're all on the same page now with this. So we've got in the bigger picture here, we've got an A wave, a B wave and a C wave coming up here for this. And yeah, so this is one count. The other count is this count here where we've got wave 1 and 2, and we go up much higher up here for 3. So this here would be wave 1 in here and 2 here, and this is a little third wave, maybe another 1 and 2 here. It's a bit small, and we'll see how that goes. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2. So basically moving up further. So that would leave us with, let's just have a look at the Aussie dollar. Will be heading lower, so that's all good, coming lower down here. That could even drop below this low here, in fact. But yeah, certainly needs to come down further. Just check on the euro here. That's also targeted lower as well here, so that's all good. And I just want to have a look. We've got a couple of long trades in this market on the US CAD loonie here, so that's where we're long in here somewhere. So we expect the market to stall a little bit at the 138 area here. Yeah, and yeah, I don't need to look at the other trade. That will be fine at that point. Let me just remove that, and I still want to come over to the dollar commodity side here. So yeah, so much the same. So we're looking at 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 up here. This is just 1 and 2 here. I think it's still building in through here, so we still need 4, 5. So while this is pushing up here, obviously this is going to affect commodities in different ways. let's just have a look at the bigger picture here for this. So it'll be a bit like this here. So a wave 1, 2 going up for 3, 4, 5 up here. So we're still keeping this as a big. The other thing that sort of is starting to sort of dawn on me, and I mentioned this a fair while ago, is that this whole move down here, it's okay to count it down in different ways here, but the thing is that you know, I never really seen the increasing volume that I should have seen coming into this move down here. This is all diminishing volume, so it's kind of telling me that this is a corrective pattern. So yeah, so it's quite possible that all of this could be counted differently, and we may need to also look at this as wave 1 up here and back for wave 2 at this point. I'm not going to go there just yet, but it's basically what the volume is telling me. But we'll see how we play out. It's always, you know, it's always best to go one step at a time. And while that's going on there, the yields will also be pushing up higher here as well. So we've got the A wave here, then an ABC for the A wave, the B wave, and we're looking at 5 waves moving up in here. But this is the way that this is traveling at the moment. This can you know, test these tops here. It's okay for a B wave to go over here, but at the same time, you know, I do wonder, do we need to look at this as 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here? So basically even higher inflation. I mean, we're always known that we've got to get higher inflation because we've got this situation here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. The question is that do we look at this move here as wave 1 here and ABC for wave 2 here, which would play this out a little bit further here? And that means that this here would be just a wave 4 here and going up for another wave 5 here and then having an ABC across here. So it's quite possible that we'll need to change this with a more of an impulse wave here and then a larger ABC pattern here and then moving up from that point. So we'll see, because it is going to be testing the tops there when we have a look at this on the 4-hour chart. This little move in here, it does seem to be sort of cruising along. If, you know, I mean, we can look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, but I've just got it as an A and a B and a C for the A wave and the B wave. But both of these look like wave 2 kind of situations. So then we've got 1 and 2 here. And then we're just counting up here as 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and 3 and 4, and we're looking for wave 5 up here, and then we'll look for this wave 4 to come into play, and then there'll be this wave 5 here, and then this wave 3 here, and this wave 4 in here somewhere. Maybe I could bring it down a bit, but it's certainly going to be testing these old highs up here for this. So anything beyond this, and then I will know, because say if I put it this way, if we get this one here, we get this here, we get this, we get this, and we get this here. If we get an ABC pattern here and we go up to here, then I know, or as soon as I get a corrective pattern in here, I'll know that I'll need to look at these two here as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. So that means that this will play out a little bit higher at that point. And then we'll have to look at all this as an impulse wave to the upside. So yeah, so we'll just see. But what I can say is that dollar up and yields up and bonds down in all of this. And then we come over to the gold market. And I think I want to start with GDX, if that's okay. And this is a daily chart for GDX. And the reason I want to do this for, because it's really ABC simple in terms of daily chart here, 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And then going up for wave 5 here. So in this instance here, so US spot gold would need to go up so GDX can have this move up here. And also too, while it's nice and sort of clean here, we can just grab this bottom and top here, and the 38.2%, we're below the 38.2% retracement level already, so we don't particularly want to go down any further for this. So it's kind of done its job in terms of being low here. So all you need to look for now is a little impulse wave to the upside. And we can see that the volume was strong on the turn here, that creates the top, but as it's moved down here, the volume has been diminishing through here, so it's not increasing. This bar is not more than this bar, or this bar is not more than this bar. So the sellers are drying up in here, so it's at its sort of low point there for GDX. So we'll look at wave 1 up here for this, and then wave 2, and then 1 and 2. So we've still got further to move up with the gold. But yeah, this 3-wave move here will need to turn into 5, and if we get 5 here, that means we'll get another 5 over here. So that's where that is. So when we look at this here on the daily chart here, we're looking at wave 1 over here, wave 2 here, 1 and 2 here, and then 3, 4 and 5 up here for this, and this can be counted as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this will be in line with GDX in terms of pushing up there. I won't go to the intraday, but I do want to have a look at Samny's count on this as well. So we have a look at commodity charts here for this second. Gold. Yeah, so we've got the same thing here. And while we're here, I'll just want to have a check on the silver as well. Silver. Yeah, it's the same thing. So it's basically at the $30 here. $30, this will be, in terms of the classic trading levels pattern, this will be the arrival here, and then we'll see the reaction. If just imagine this is $30 here, major trading level, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. So this is pretty much what's going to happen with silver. Okay, so if you understand this, then you don't have to lose money. Do you know what I mean? It teaches you patience and gets your timing right. So yeah, anyway, that's that for that. And that covers gold. And so what we need to do now is have a look at the base metals. So just before we start, I just want to, let me just, because otherwise I'll forget, not that I'm losing my marbles yet, but when you've got a lot going on, sometimes you can miss things. So not so much that one, that's copper, we can come back to that. I just wanted nickel, where's my nickel chart? Yeah, so you know, we're seeing copper push up, which is nice, and it may be limited, but copper, nickel and lithium and so on, they're all in the same sort of bag. So this nickel one here, because of, you know, what happened at the LME with the Chinese and so on, is that we'll take that as a top there, and the A and the B and the C, that's my sort of best guess at this thing. So we've been counting 5 waves down, and we called the low in here, and then we've got an impulse wave here. I understood that we'd have to be a little bit careful in a downtrend. So, but once this top here gets taken out, then we'll have a move on nickel. And it does appear, I mean, it looks like a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here, and some sort of ABC developing here. So you could probably drop that down onto this one here for a move to the upside. I must write that down here so I can put it in the commodities trade portfolio. So I'll just get that set up there a little bit, and of course the stop will be here, and if it gets triggered, then I can lift it up and manage it a little bit. But you know, I mean, it's quite, I haven't pulled this apart here, but it's probably quite possible to look at this as 1 and 2 at this point too. So taking this top out here, if we get, you know, if we'll see anyway, we want to get a small position here, and we want to add to the position over here as well if that's going to play out there. So anyway, I think that's just sort of interesting at this point. And this is copper here, so we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So basically here we're having some sort of correction before we're going up again, and this will be our long trade over here for that. We don't need that there now, push that over there, because we exited at 30 here, because after these 5 waves here, we don't know how far it's going to pull back. Is this going to be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2? Now I know that Summy's got it a bit counted a little bit different, and we should look at that because he is a very good analyst, and blessed to have all our analysts. Actually, they're all pretty Fabo. Copper. So in the bigger picture here, we've got it, and rightfully so, because this WXY here fits quite nice. But if this, for instance, this high here, because this little high here on the futures here can be just above this one or quite close to it, which would make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So then this becomes 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's quite possible to get an impulse wave out of here. You've got to push it a bit, but so it's quite possible for this to move up. And the other thing that I wanted to look at this is that I normally look at, to keep an eye on a few other markets. This is the copper fund index here. So we were also looking at it as an A wave here and a B wave over here. But can we look at it as wave 1 and 2? I mean, we looked at this before, and the interesting thing here is we've got 5 waves here, and then we've got 5 waves over here for this, and we're in this little wave 4 here. And if we get wave 5 over here, that could be sort of starting to toy with this top here a little bit, you know what I mean? Depending on how far this 5th wave goes here. So, you know, I mean, even once we finish this as such, if this, you know, we get the wave 4, am I on the right charting? Oh, it's 8 o'clock, so it's, the platform's resetting, so I'm just going to jump around for a little bit. So I can't really move anything while that happens. So I'll just, yeah, so if this goes up to here somewhere, right, it still could be the B wave up here. But if we get a correction after this here, if we get a correction after that, then we'll know that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we get a correction here. That means that we'll have to do something weird, like look at this as wave 1 with an ABC here. So then this will be this one here, you know, and so on. And then we could end up, and then we'll have to look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. Do you know what I mean? Some weird stuff, you know, a little bit out of sync. So anyway, just look at it. It's always good to look at both sides, and you just got to move with the evidence. It's okay sketching out into the future. But yeah, anyway, our next position will be in here once this develops, and it's not developed just yet for that. And let's just let me just get my list over here to go through. My list, where is it? Here. So uranium is next, so let's just find that. I'm going to go back to this one here and come over to this one, and we're dropped here, so that's kind of helpful. I suppose we could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, so we can still go long above here. I mean, we've got this as the A wave and the B wave. I could put this back over here now. Look at this as the A, the B, and the C here, and look for wave C to come down here as wave 4 here. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. We've done pretty much all the right things at this particular point in time. So we need to wait for this. This is also a classic trading levels pattern at the 30 here as well. So anyway, all we need to do is buy that new high here, and if we can get a better position once things develop here a bit better, then fine. And if it just pushes straight up from there, well, then we'll be onto that as well. So that's looking good. I just want to have a look at this. Is Sprott and this, yeah, because we looked at this one too. This is one of the larger Russian ones, but in this case we could see the clear ABC for this. So in this case we can look at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So yeah, this is on track here. But yeah, I suppose the good news is that it is corrective, and this is the arrival, the reaction here, the first high above the level, and now we're in the correction here. Not that we just trade this one, but it's just good to look at. And that brings us over to oil and gas. So let's just go in and have a look at that. But I'll just look at crude oil on this chart here. So I've been talking about this being an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here, and as long as that low holds here, then that's okay. We can look for a move up there. We're certainly not going to trade it up at this particular point. I don't have a nice, this looks like it's in 3 waves here and can come down at this point. And normally we'd look to go shorting under here if we were already in a downtrend. I don't like to pick the turns without any evidence. So the money's in the turn, of course, but so is the risk as well. So the other point with this too is that just want to find, if we look at the, just look at the sectors here for a moment. Let me just find the sectors. US sector here, the energy sector. So this is what we were looking at with the energy sector here. This is a daily chart here. So basically we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. So we're expecting this wave 4 to pull back into the 38.2% retracement level here for this, and we're kind of in there already on that. I haven't looked at it on an intraday basis, and this is pretty much governed by ExxonMobil. It's got the same sort of pattern, so let's have a look at that. So this is ExxonMobil here, and it's pulled down quite nicely at this stage. It looks like the A wave here, the B wave. Looks like we've still got another little move to the downside here. Once we get this up here, we can look, maybe even look to add to this position, because we'll be looking at the 130 at that point. The other interesting thing here, a little bit left field, but is this market, the United States Oil Fund, and we've been looking at this here as the A, the B, and the C wave here, which was fair enough. I mean, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's an A. And then we're looking at this one pulling back down here as an A and a B and a C wave here, and then looking for this up here further. So this looks like it needs to go over here, really, to push this over to here, and then this would go to here, and we can make all of that smaller at this point, and push this over to here, and we can look at this as the B wave up here and the A wave here and the C wave here, and remove those other ones. But anyway, you get the picture. An A, B, C for the A wave, a B wave here, and a C wave up here. So what I'm saying here is that the this can be pushed up even further here. When we look at this in this light here, if we look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, because it shapes up a little bit better there, doesn't it, you know? And we also too want to kind of line this up with the US dollar by the by as well. So then we can look at this here, and we could look at this here in terms of probably wave 1 here, and maybe this one. I have to just double check that. I could see that playing out a bit differently here. So yeah, so this would be all I'm doing here is just pushing this a little bit higher here, you know. I mean, obviously there's still tensions around the world in this particular sector, so it can push up here higher for longer, and that looks like what it's doing, you know. So to take this top out here, so crude could actually move up. I'll get a better count on that. I think that should be wave 1 to here. That's 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. So maybe that needs to go to here on that. Anyway, I'll sort that out. But just pointing out that this old top could be taken out here, which will probably blow up a lot of counts at this point. So I do see the crude should follow the dollar and the yields higher, and that means we need to sort of track this higher here as well. Do need some evidence for that though, but it does look like a nice A wave here and a B wave here and a C wave here, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? So is that actually taking that top out there? Looks like it, doesn't it? I'll need to, yeah, it's just taking that top out so that can go, yeah, still B wave there though, isn't it? Anyway, I'll do some work on it, but just to point out that it's you know, these side markets, you know, can push higher without too much problems. And it's certainly pretty clear here that we've got 1 and 2 here, and 3 we're waiting for wave 4, and wave 4's here, and wave 4 may get quite complicated here, I don't know, but we still need that 5th wave to push up there. So with that in mind, looking at XLE here as well, that will need to push up there as well, and in this case there's a good chance for this to push up here as well. Now we just got to kind of see this rally here is probably 50% of the last swing down here, so yeah, it can come down here further. We could still look at it as wave 4. I mean, this is wave 4 of 1 lesser degree over here, so we could be in for a bigger picture over here. Not quite sure, but yeah, it is telling me that we should be going higher, and not that I want to trade it higher. The ExxonMobil trade is doing well, and it's also running a lot smoother, so it seems to be a bit easier to trade stock. Well, I know it's easier to trade stock rather than crude oil. I wouldn't trade this particular market myself. I find it always a bit of a bit spiky, and there's too few people that govern the outcome of it. And then we go over to natural gas. So let's just have a look at natural gas. And we've been looking at it in terms of wave 3 here, and then an A and a B, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for wave 4 up here. And then we need to look at this as wave 1 down here, and wave 2 pulling back here. I guess we'll just see how this plays out. And we need wave 3 should be down at the low here, and I'll just put wave 4 and 5 in while I'm here. So we'll see how this plays out. It does look like an A and a B and a C wave coming down here, and an impulse wave here for this. I could probably put that over here, which is a bit better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here. And that would leave this as 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. We'll see how it goes. I mean, basically, you know, the next step in confirming this is this low here needs to be taken out. If this one here gets taken out, well, then that's going to be a bullish pattern and put us into a bit of strife at that point, but we'll see. I'd only turn more bullish if this number here became the support on this one. So we'll just see how this plays out. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.